When people talk, listen, man, I'm going to raise that red flag.
This narrative, especially after 1 year, one bad year, it's one big splash move. And because I don't think people understand how much cap space we can create.
Alex, I want to ask you, because you're a very humble person.
And I'm never going to be right about anything.
Yeah.
I was right.
What's up, y'all? I'm back. I actually don't remember the last time that I came on, but, sometimes you just gotta get stuff out, and this has been a really good outlet for me. So, I know that it's kind of like a downtime, and there isn't like a lot to unpack, and we're kind of beholden to, because fans can't be at OTAs, beholden to like the mainstream media or even the local media, giving us a rundown and allowing us to draw our own conclusions, which is never a good thing. So I decided to just pivot away from that because I think that that's kind of toxic. Because the thing is, like, sometimes we see like one or two or three clips of just a player. We get half news about injuries. Like, we don't get the whole story behind anything, which I'm telling you guys is Shedeur Sanders stuff. We gotta stop letting the media dictate this, because it's nonsense. Same with Travis Hunter. Same with it is May. It is May. So I refuse to kind of go with these narratives, and instead, because what's been on my mind that I just cannot shake is, why the hell did we cut Davion Clowney? Like, and I think that's still on top of most people's minds, and I think that people are just kind of like ready to move on to the next topic. And I actually want to make this point right here. We should not do that. We should not just say, hey, it's been a week, we're tired of talking about it, let's move on. We should not do that. If we do not get answers or answers that are acceptable to our questions, we should keep asking those questions. Because we, as a consumer of the product that you are providing for us, deserve it. And we should not feel bad for continuing to ask these questions. So we all off season with Jadeveon, I'm just talking about Jadeveon Clowney real fast because I don't really want to harp on it. But I sat here and talked to Panther fan after Panther fan after Panther fan, telling me how little depth our defensive front has, especially our defensive edges. And we signed one in free agency, and then I continue to hear we have to get at least two in the draft, along with who we already had. And we did. We got two. And then we dropped one. So this team that could not get any pressure on the quarterback whatsoever this past year decided, you know what, we drafted two guys that were good. It doesn't make sense. So, me being the nerdy numbers guy that I am, I decided to look further and also subsequently show whoever's listening why I think more moves are coming. So let's just start with Brant Tillis, because everything numbers-wise starts and ends with Brant Tillis. Let me just throw this out there. Let's throw it out there just so you understand the insane turnaround that happened. Last year, we being the Panthers, had $73.2 million in dead cap. $73.2 million in 1 year. We haven't been to the playoffs since 2017. And in 1 year, we ate $73.2 million. Which, if we want Tillis to make the best impact that he can, that was necessary. So, let me start off with where Tillis came from. Tillis came from the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is their dead cap by year since 2020. 2020, they had 18 million dead cap. 2021, 17.7. 2022, 16.4. 2023, 12.3. 24, 17 million dead cap. And 2025, right now, they are 13.2 million in dead cap. So let's just take about this year because they can still cut players to get more dead cap. So we're looking at 17, 12, 16, 17, 18. What does that tell us? 17 million is where they tend to stay as far as dead cap. It's so much so, let's just take out, because you talk about mean, median, and mode, right? So let's take out the outliers, which would be 12.3 in this scenario. So 2024, 17 million dead cap. 2022, 16.4 million dead cap. 2021, 17.7 million dead cap. And 2020, 18 million dead cap. Quick math off the top of my head, that goes to 1 divided by 4. That's 17.25 million dead cap per year. And it's one after the other. I just rattled it off to this. It's obvious. So we ate that 73.2 million to get to that. Now, let's make it make sense for us. So, with the post-June 1st designation on players that you cut, what happens is you can spread their dead cap over 2 years. Which, that's why I was so confused, because if you're going to cut them, just wait until June 1st and cut them. And that way you can have more cap space this year. But next year, all of a sudden, we're looking at Taylor Moton void year of 4.8 million, Thielen void year of 4.7 million, Corbett void year of 4 million, Tuttle void year of 3.2 million, Wanham void year of 1 million, which adds up to around 18 million. That's probably going to be dead cap, because I doubt, outside of maybe Moton and Wanham, I doubt we're re-signing any of these other guys. So that right there is a dead cap already of 18 million. So I know it's on the board that I'm already at my peak of where I want my dead cap to be at 18 million. So immediately makes a lot more sense to go ahead and cut Jadeveon Clowney this year. Why? Because I was only sitting at $10 million in dead cap this year. So if I eat $6 million of dead cap for Jadeveon Clowney this year, then I'm right at 16.4 million, which is right on that little cusp area of what the Chiefs are doing. So I don't know if you followed that, because for me, it just sounds so simple. We're at like 16.4 million of dead cap. Chiefs are on average around 17.2. So gives us some wiggle room. I think we gave, so say we cut Renfro, I think we gave him 50,000 guaranteed. Some of the undrafted free agents we gave guaranteed money to that we probably will cut. So that I'll go against dead cap and other things as well. So we'll probably end up somewhere around 17.25 in dead cap. So that's the answer to the question. It isn't some even me. I went down the rabbit holes. what's going on? Is there a fight between Clowney and Canales? No, it's just all caps. It's a cap thing. We're already over dead cap budget next year, which in theory, if you think about inflation as far as the salary cap, that 7.25 is going to go to 18 million ish next year, anyways. Whatever, that's complicated. But so since we're already at that void number for next year, or that dead cap next year, and we had that space to eat in dead cap this year, makes a lot more sense. So now let's get. I'm just trying to. I think that's pretty clear. If it's not clear, it should be, and I just explained it poorly. So honestly, if you really want to know, and I didn't explain it poorly, I would really love to have a conversation. You can message me, comment or whatever, because this is really cool. I've done other videos about Tillis and the patterns that he creates, but overall, it's pretty cool. So I think that I don't want to say people. I make comments about like things that I think are going to happen. I've like predicted things that are going to happen, and on Twitter and stuff like that, it's just too complicated to mathematically illustrate why I think these things. So one thing that I've said is that the Panthers are going to sign 2 starter level players. Here's the reason why I think this. So the Chiefs have shown us, because Tillis comes from the Chiefs, they've shown us that they are elite at playing in the margins. So here's what I mean by that. So I've already showed you with their dead cap. They're pretty spot on year after year after year after year with their dead cap. It's almost like it's a fixed variable for them. They literally say, this is our dead cap. They're thinking 3 steps ahead. Like go ahead and think about, they have their void years for next year. They've already thought ahead to next year. They already thought ahead to, we're going to eat Jadeveon Clowney's dead cap this year because we have the room this year. And let's play as close a margins as we can. So this is what some teams do. And this is what I would probably do. But the reason I would do this is, so let me tell you what I would do. I've talked about rollover cap before, right? So what rollover cap is basically you are required, based on the collaborative agreement for owners and basically the owners, actually. I don't think the players union even talk about this kind of stuff. But the owners have said, as long as in a 4-year span, you spend 90-ish, I think it's 89%, 90-ish percent of the total cap number in that 4-year span, you're good. So you can literally hold half your cap and only spend 50% of your cap for 1 year, and then roll it over to the next year and spend it all next year. As long as in that 4-year span, you're spending 90% of your cap, which is sort of what the Patriots did. Patriots didn't spend all of their cap. They rolled it over, and then they spent big on Stephon Diggs and Milton Williams, and like they just spend, which might be the flaw in the system. It also means that you're bringing a lot of people in at one time. You're not really setting a culture. There's flaws in it. What Tillis and the Chiefs do is they say, we don't want rollover cap. Every single year, we're going to play in the margins because that keeps us the most malleable, the most kind of ready for anything. So on the active roster for the Chiefs, since 2020, they were the fourth. They spent the fourth most on their active roster in 2020, fifth most in 2021, the most in 2022, the most in 2023, the most in 2024, and right now they're at the fifth most on their active roster. That means that they're only playing with like a little tiny bit of cap room, and they're not going to roll it into the following year. Their rollover cap is in 2024, it was 23rd. In 2023, it's 28th. In 2022, it was 14th. 2021, it was 23rd. And 2020, 17th. But they never even made it to the top 10 in any year with rollover cap. So why is this important? It means that they are planning their contracts out to the most specific number they can possibly do. So we know that Tillis has carried that over because he was 31st in rollover cap this previous year. It's a very, very small rollover cap. They're playing in the margins. So if I know that my rollover cap is going to be very small, and if I know my active roster is going to be very, very large, they have created $20 million in their top 51 cap space. Not only that, these players have no dead cap attached to them, and they can add more as they cut. Because Chisney is going to be cut, and that adds another $1 million to your. Actually, because they have to be replaced, it's going to be more like 700,000. But just bear with me. Chisney, Basham, Matthew Wright is another $1 million. Matthew Wright is a kicker. I'm assuming that the rookie takes the gig. Who knows? Blackshear is probably going to be cut. Yosh might be cut at 1.5 million. You save. Roberts is $1 million. Renfro, I didn't realize he was only making $1 million. He's probably going to be cut. Honestly, I thought that they were giving him a bigger deal than that. I don't. But they're still going to have more cap. So if their top 51 right now is $20 million, and I know that they're going to add to that as cuts come. So let's just say it's 30 million. And I know that my rollover is with the Chiefs is always small. We're talking about 1, 2, 3 million. And I know that my active roster is always going to be in the top 5, basically, if I'm talking Chiefs. And I know my dead cap is sort of where it's going to be. That's basically telling me I'm going to have $30 million to work with, probably, with cap. I'm probably going to lose, let's just say the difference between, let's just say that on average, the Chiefs have $5 million in rollover cap. It's lower than that, but let's just say 5. That means you're working with $25 million in cap space that you are going to use. But you're going to do it. It's not like when, and you got to think, you can add more money when, with guys going on IR and stuff like that. They have an insane amount of cap room. And they cut Jadeveon Clowney super early. I'm being generous when I say 2 moves, but I feel comfortable in saying it because it could be 2 one-year moves. So it could be like 2 one-year $10 million deals, that kind of thing. But knowing Tillis, it ain't. It could be 3 moves. It could be 4 moves. I kind of just start spitballing, and I don't understand. I don't know if you followed me through that at all. But at the end of the day, we are gonna have like $25 million that we are going to spend. How do I know that? Because the Chiefs have set the playbook, and in Tillis' first year, he followed it. And he's continuing to follow it because right now their dead cap is exactly where the Chiefs keep their dead cap. Their next year voided years is right in line with the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs' rollover number is in the bottom 7 consistently in the year, That's around $5 million of rollover. That means by milk or crook, they're going to spend $25 million this year on new players. They are not going to restructure anyone. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you? Because restructure is only going to affect that precious dead cap down the road. And guess what? 2027, there's zero dead cap. It's. I'm going to summarize this all because I know that I just get giddy over this kind of stuff. But it's almost like we had somebody in 1 year come and balance our check. They said, "Hey guys, this is how we're going to proceed from now on. We're going to spend all of our money except for a couple million. We're only going to have 17 million in dead cap every year, and we're not going to push the can down the road more than 1 year." That's fantastic. That's amazing. That's absolutely incredible. So at any given time, this is what Tillis is saying. Every year, $17 million dead cap. Every year, rollover cap around $5 million. Every year, we're going to keep around $25 million in off-season cap room that we will manipulate as we need, but that it will all be spent by the end of the season. So, with the guys on the market, Blackman, I think he played for $3.1 million last year. Like let's just say it's Blackman, right? So let's just say we give him a 1 year, $7 million deal. We still have $18 million we got to spend. Granted, we'll have some of that during the regular season, but we won't keep a lot of it because guys go to IR. They're losing their per game bonuses that go against the cap that we will get back. We also get credits going into next year. A lot of nerdy stuff. And before I summarize everything, I just want to talk about this, which is super, super cool. Putting Jonathan Brooks. Because here's what happens. If you put a player on a full year IR, those credits, as far as your cap credits, go to the following year, as far as following NFL season. We did it right before this NFL season. So we're getting his salary, basically, it just credits back to us that fill our cap space, which is really, really cool. Getting Mushi Muhammad on our IR gives us credits. We have I can't remember who it is on the commissioner's exempt list credits. We have already $5 million in credits for guys that just for little moves like that. It's just really. Anyway, summing everything up, Clowney was cut for cap purposes. I definitely believe that now. I think there's other stuff that probably comes into play a little bit here. I am dealing with factual information, and the facts say that it made sense to go ahead and cut him before June 1st because of the void years next year. That's set up because we're looking at the Chiefs. Chiefs have around $17 million in dead cap every year. We have $20 million in cap room. And don't look at the cap for the total roster. It's going to say something like negative $16 million or something. No, look at your top 51. That's all that matters right now. So that's about $20 million. We know that they're only going to roll over $5 million. So we have significant amount of cap room that we are 100% going to spend. Why? Because the Chiefs did it every single year. Let's talk about this one quick thing, because I think it's important. So say we know we're going to have around 17 million in dead cap each year. How far in advance did they know what they were going to do with these guys? Mingo is $2 million in dead cap this year. So he knew that he knew what was going into this year dead cap. Shaq Thompson, they knew they were going to cut. And Dane Jackson, they knew they were going to cut. Hector, they knew all this stuff as far as like dead cat. Miles Sanders, they knew they were going to cut. And it added up to this like very super nice. That if I just add $6 million to it, it'd be 6 hours dead cat. And when they were in the beginning of this season, when they were redoing the contract of Corbett, who had a void year this year, they signed him to avoid the next year. Thielen, they restructured his contract, gives him a raise, but it added a void year for next year. And because what they were doing is like, well, so in 2 years, we'll be right around our 17 million. So all of this is just one big puzzle that Phyllis is manipulating. And that is why I'm confident saying, so if I look into the numbers and I see these patterns, why I'm so confident saying there's 2 more signings coming. Also, Dan Morgan said that he's signing a safety in his last press conference before the draft, I believe. He said the numbers aren't quite there. I'm paraphrasing, or I actually might be quoting. I've heard it so many times. The numbers aren't quite there, but we're going to stay patient. And when the time comes, we'll be aggressive. And it's specifically talking about when they brought in Blackman and Marcus Williams and I think somebody else maybe. So we know at least one safety coming. And the numbers, as far as the cap numbers, say there's at least another decent player coming, if not 2 or 3. I hope that made sense. And I don't really have anything else to add. So, till next time. Peace.